Hello, Dr. Kimberly. We're live.
What? Wait a minute. Here we go.
Come on, y'all, it's time.
Come on, come on, let's go, let's go, let's do it.
Rolling on the road
With the doc,
rolling on the road
with Dave,
rolling on the road.
with the doc.
100 states of the versatility with Dave and Dr.
All
Verity.
right, all right,
That was
cool.
good.
Yeah, yes, right,
Yeah,
that was
all
nice.
Yes, I'm so excited. And you are rolling. So today, Dave is not necessarily on another assignment, but there's some things that came up. We'll probably share when he comes back on next week. But I am trying to get over my gigglies. Yes. I am so excited today. We have Miss Chapman on the show from Gift of Life, Michigan, and all of her credentialing. Y'all can see that scrolling down at the bottom. Amen. Yes, Lord. And I had to tell her that I am excited. And I said I was going to try to contain myself during the show today, but I don't know that I can do it because everybody has that somebody that, oh my gosh, I wish I could meet them. And Miss Chapman is one of those persons that, oh my gosh, I wish I could meet her. I just want her to be my friend. I want to go sit at her house, eat some collard greens and cornbread. I don't even know if she cooks, but she's in the D. For y'all that don't know, that's Detroit. And I'm just saying, we could find someplace to get some collard greens and some cornbread and get some sweet tea and just sit at her kitchen table. And I'll be like this, like, smacking. Like I don't have no manners. How you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. And I'm glad you chose collard greens. They're my favorite collard greens. Let's go with hot water cornbread and just make it real. So
Hold on. We
let's
know
make it real. Let's make it do what it does, okay? That's
okay,
right.
we're gonna make it do what it do. So
That's it.
Miss Chapman, I want to introduce you to Miss Shana Thomas. She lives all the way in Bel Air, Maryland. And we've been on the air for 3 years, and she has been a staunch supporter for 3 years. And she makes this, oh my gosh, the best body scrub this side of heaven
Wow.
that the Lord will allow. If he make anything better, he didn't keep it for himself. I'm just saying. And so we've been giving this out to all of our guests when they come on.
Oh, wow.
And with the hopes that, okay, we're going to give you a little sampling. You get an 8 ounce. It comes all the way up to 32 ounces. I get to 32 ounces once every, 4 to 6 weeks because that's just me. And trust me, you're going to want it. You're going to want to get the bigger container. And if you get the 32 ounce, that's the special one. That's the one I get all the time. You get a 15% discount on the big 32. Just tell them you want the Dr. K special. I'm just saying.
So I'll be telling Sister Shana Thomas I want the Dr. K special. I got you.
Yes. But I'm going to tell you about this body scrub. The body scrub has, first of all, I like peppermint because it helps with pain. And it has real rose petals. So back in the Egyptian day, they believed that rose petals help to keep the skin soft and make you young. So like all of the pharaohs and kings and queens, when they would make their body soap or body wash, they would use rose petals. What did she say? What did she
Yes,
say?
Dr. K special. Thank you, Sister Shana. I appreciate that.
And and then it has this age-defying oils in it. I'm telling you, you will never ever want to buy body scrub off of the shelf ever again once she makes this body scrub for you. There's like 8 different, I always say flavors. Like there's strawberry, there's mango, there's vanilla. I mean, so whatever tickles your fancy. And I'm telling you, when you do it, your skin is just like, oh my Lord, Jesus. You look wonderful. You feel wonderful. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying.
You made a believer out of me.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And I mean, just the way it makes your skin feel, it make you want to donate that skin. What? Look at that segue.
Oh
That
my.
skin is so nice and so well preserved. It makes you want to donate it to somebody else so that they can have some good skin. That was good, wasn't it? She
That
good.
was good. That was good. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, so you got to keep your skin up in case somebody else might need it, Because I'm
It's
telling
true.
you, my husband used it, and I'm telling you, I think they took all the skin off of his body. They was like, "Ooh, we like this skin," and just they weren't a little happy because I don't think you're
Mm.
necessarily supposed to see the bodies once y'all finish. But you know me, somebody is nosy. But I wasn't being nosy. It was just the way they had unzipped the body bag and they had him like covered. I was just, I went to go give him a hug and a kiss, and maybe the blanket and the sheet might have just kind of slid off when I was touching his chest,
Just accidentally.
accidentally on purpose. And then
Okay.
I'm telling,
Skin so soft it just slid off. I got you. Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm
I
just
got you.
saying, I'm telling y'all, that's why y'all need this body scrub. Because even after he was gone, he had been gone for, like Jesus had been dead like 3 days. And I was like, come on, rise up now, Les. Come on. That skin still felt off. Okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to, get myself geared up to have this conversation.
Take your time. Take your
And
time.
as y'all know, we have been talking about our inner strength. What did Shayna say?
She's saying, yes, donate that good skin.
See, I'm just trying to tell you. And you need to do that. But we've been talking about our inner strength. First of all, what is it? How you develop it? And then how do you maintain it? And today we're going to go with point number 4, which is don't allow other people's ignorance to weaken your inner strength. So today, even if it's your own ignorance that you don't know about donating an organ or tissue donation, that you're going to learn today.
Yes.
You're
Amen.
going to learn today, and you are not going to allow your own ignorance to get into that inner strength and say, you shouldn't do that because people will talk you out of
Shayna's saying this is a much needed conversation. So thank you, Shayna.
that. They will talk you out your husband, your car, your clothes, if you let them. They'll tell you how bad something is and you shouldn't do it. The next thing you know, driving your car, living in your house, and married to your husband. Not her. Mm-mm. Getting your kidney, getting your brand new heart. I'm just saying. But will you please tell the people what it is that you do for the gift of life?
Well, thank you, Dr. Kimberly. Once again, I want to just, I'm also a fan today, and I'm excited about being here. And I've had the pleasure and I have been blessed for the over 25 years to serve as the director of our minority organ tissue transplant education program here at Gift of Life, Michigan, where I also serve as our director of public education and community relations. And so I have been gifted the honor of going into community, engaging in conversations to increase the number of, especially multicultural or minority donors in the state of Michigan. And as I said,
Hold
I
on, look.
started this.
I'm gonna do like this. Hold on.
Hold on.
Sometimes you gotta toot your own horn. So I'm tooting the horn for you for all that you do.
Okay. Okay, so that's Pat Sanders saying, hello, Dr. K.
She is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, Atlanta. So I have, and again, I feel as though I have been blessed to carry this message about organ and tissue donation into minority communities that have been somewhat reluctant to sign up to become organ and tissue donors. And so we had a special program that was founded at Howard University by Dr. Clive Callender. And that has been the vehicle that we have used to really engage the minority community. And because this program was founded, it's the first national program to talk to our communities about the importance of organ and tissue donation. And it was founded by simply having a conversation, just like you and I are talking now. And that conversation occurred with Dr. Callender and focus groups in the Washington, D.C. area. And questions were asked. And the question was, why did minority communities need at such high rates? And yet, and still, our donation rates were so low. So from asking that question, they came up with some of the reasons. Some of the reasons were people felt that, if someone signed up to become an organ donor, they wouldn't try to save their lives. And so that they would be chasing the ambulance and things of that nature. That's not true. That is not what we do. But because of different television programs and different things that people had seen, and you know how once a myth gets out there, you have to constantly go after it because it is passed down. And so we were able to go into community and talk and say, no, that is not true. That you signing up on greetings from Maryland, that's from Tracy Walls. Welcome, welcome, my sister. That is not true. Or people believe that because their religion or their faith did not support organ and tissue donation. And so now we said no, all major religions support organ and tissue donation. And I always like to refer back to, since you began us with a prayer, the First Corinthians 15 that says flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. Yeah. And that this mortal body must be changed into something that is immortal. And so going in, talking about faith communities, talking and getting them engaged with the conversation. Again, talking about some of the myths and the mistrust of the medical system. That because of some things that happened historically, that people did not trust the medical system. And so therefore, talking about those issues, exhausting those conversations, giving accurate information to our communities, we've been able to see some changes. And that makes us feel good. But another thing was that people felt that because of racism, or that people would get organs that because people didn't look like them. And so they gave up their organs, they would go to someone who had more money or more fame or things of that nature. And we was like, no. The organ donation list is colorblind. It is gender blind. And so, no, that does not happen. But we found that the biggest reason is that people weren't coming into the community. They weren't engaging us in conversation. They weren't answering the questions that we needed to have answered. And so, as I said, for the last 25 years, I have had the opportunity to work with volunteers and donor families and recipients and those who are waiting, and a wonderful transplant community and some phenomenal people at Gift of Life Michigan. And we have been going into community talking about the importance of organ and tissue donation and saying that, listen, in our communities, we have high rates of hypertension, high blood pressure, we have high rates of diabetes. And those are the two leading causes that lead to end-stage renal disease, for instance. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, we have taken the message, I like to say, from head to heart. And we have gone in and we have engaged and we have talked. And so I'm happy to say, in fact, I am blessed to say that when I began, our donation rate was about 10.8% in the minority community. And now it's over 30%. But our need rate is still so great. And so until that need rate is met, we are committed to the Ministry of Organ and Tissue Donation Education. And so I am glad to be with you here today to talk about this particular subject matter.
Well, I am truly excited. I believe that if you are a leader and you can influence somebody, then I think that you should. And if you have a platform where you can inform and educate, that it's your responsibility. It's not just about you and what you can get, but what can you do for the people? I want to say good afternoon to Allison. Allison was on last week. We really enjoyed her, and you really kind of picked up where we left off with Allison. Monique Reddick is watching. We want to say hello to you this afternoon. So we're just excited to have this conversation, and I know they're like, is she gonna tell her story? Yes, I am. Until you get it. But what I love is the opportunity to get informed, to be educated before the decision has to be made,
Yes.
because you don't want to have to make that decision at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, when after everything is kind of, the dust has settled and the medical examiner has the body, and he does like his preliminary screening and then calls Gift of Life, and then you get a call from Gift of Life saying, hey, you've got 10, 12 hours to make this decision, and you don't really have anybody to call and talk to. And it's just one of those things, well, okay, Lord, what do I need to do? I am grateful as a United States Navy veteran that I had an appointment at the Wyoming VA. My primary care, as well as my mental health care person, talked to me simultaneously. I said, this is what I have an opportunity to do. And they both said, trust me, you'll get through this so much better if you do the donation.
Mm.
And I'm here to tell you that it just, okay, I'm not going to cry. I don't know, maybe I might cry, but it has just been phenomenal. And at every single turn, God has reassured, reaffirmed me that this was the right decision to make. And he had me watching Touched by an Angel. I hadn't watched that show in years. There's like 9 seasons, and he had me to start at season 6, and I believe that it was like episode 22 or 23. How about in that episode, the situation was so similar. My husband died 2 minutes away from home in the car. Their daughter died a few minutes away from home in the car. And when they got her to the hospital, the coroner calls and says, hey, would you do a donation? They said they were just so numb. They were like, yeah, okay, whatever you want us to do. We'll just make this all go away. You'll stop talking. They were like, yes. At the very end, they used to go to this restaurant for dinner. And so the owner had called the mom and asked her to stop by. So she stops by and she goes, I see that you're busy and that you're closed for a private party, but you reached out to me and I just thought I would respond. He said, it is closed down for a private party. The party is for you. She said, for
Oh,
me.
wow.
She says, nobody told me. And oh, she goes in there. She sees her husband and her son sitting at the table that they always sit at. And there was a room full of people. And she says to them, do you know these people? And they said, no. Do you? She was like, no, I don't know them either. How about everybody that was in this room had received a donation from their daughter?
Wow. Wow.
Everybody that was in the restaurant had received something. And my husband, we donated his eyes, the whole globe of it, and the cornea. So 2 people received their sight. And so there was a young lady that said, I received your daughter's corneas. And because of that, by the time I lost my sight during this pregnancy, so that by the time my baby was born, I was able to see my baby because of your daughter. I just lost it. I lost it. Then there was a guy that stood up. He said, my name is Stan, and I received veins and arteries during my open heart surgery. Well, my husband had given veins and arteries. And then a lady stood up. She said her name. She said, I'm from Michigan, and I received a lung. I couldn't even watch anymore. I couldn't. And if that wasn't affirmation enough, confirmation to say you did the right thing, there was a whole TV show that had been on years before to let me know that today what I did was right.
Dr. Kimberly, that is so powerful. That is, now you talk about a powerful story. That is powerful. And that makes me think that there's no such thing as coincidence. That was providence, for you to see that and for that to affirm. And I think that you brought to life the power of organ and tissue donation. That, as you said, each person in that room had been touched and impacted by this precious gift that someone had given. And the question of saying, do you know anyone there? And the answer being no, but yes. I don't know, but I do know. I do know because a part of me now has been given to that particular person, and we are connected beyond this earthly experience that we are all on. Pat Sanders is saying that is amazing, Dr. Dr. Kimberly. And so I think that you once again talk about the power of organ and tissue donation. And the fact that, this show that had been on a long time ago, Touched by an Angel, and what an appropriate name for that show. I've always loved that show. But I think that that's what happens, is that those persons that are waiting, when they receive that gift from our donor families, from our donor families' loved one, that's what has occurred. They have been touched by an angel who decided that they would share the gift of life when those organs that they have, those tissues, they are no longer using them. And so as a result of that, I think that's a powerful story. I know when I began, there used to be a slogan that I love, and it would say, don't take your organs to heaven, because heaven knows that we need them here. And I see that once again, and in fact, Monique is asking, what's the name of the movie? I think you said it was
okay. So I'm getting ready to go right now. Okay. Heather Kitson is watching. I'm not sure if Heather is stateside, because I know that she's been living in Germany.
Okay.
So I'm excited if she's in Germany. Okay. And it's like, whoa, she caught us. And I'm sure it's like dark there. And yeah. So I watched it on, what was it? Prime Video.
Okay.
So I'm about to Google it, because Google.
You about to go?
Google don't lie.
You say Google don't.
Google don't lie.
Google give everybody. That's your immediate administrative assistant all the time.
But what I love, the number of people that have been, their minds have been changed, and now they have changed their license to become organ donors.
Okay.
Let's see, what does that say? She said that was amazing. Monique,
yes.
We got all the comments. The number of people who have changed their license now to become organ donors, it has just been phenomenal. And they let me know, hey, Dr. Kim, this is what I did. And here, I think just about everybody, because people come from all over the country to participate in Art Prize. And that's what my Art Prize piece is this year, is dedicated to my husband.
And wow.
So it was created by using artificial intelligence. So I had about maybe 10 pictures that I had that I liked of him. I put it in there, and then they kind of generated pictures that they thought was cool. And I liked this one because it looked like he was in the military. So then I typed in Army, and so they came up with an Army decal that we were able to put on there. And then, of course, I put the medallion in from Gift of Life, and they kind of toggled it. It looked really, really funny. and then the words I put in as well. And I love this piece because on the left side, I put everything that he had. He had asthma, he had COPD, he died from congestive heart failure, and he drank. He smoked for over 40 years. He stopped, I want to say about 18 months before he died. And yet he was still able to be a donor. He helped more than 80 people with his donation. He was able to give peripheral nerves for people who have neuropathy. Oh yeah, he had neuropathy as well.
Okay.
So everything, and he was a type 2 diabetic. So everything that was wrong with him, he was able to donate out of, from the tissue
Mm-hmm.
donation to help somebody else. So, arteries and veins to help with fistulas, um, nerves, the peripheral nerves to help people with neuropathy. Skin was donated for burn patients. And then the trimmings, of course, are used to, train cadaver dogs. And he gave bone and marrow tissue for those patients who had bone cancer. He gave artery and veins for open heart surgery. And then the globe of eyes and the whole eye. No, the globe of eyes and the corneas for 2 people to receive their sight. So it just is amazing. And what I love is that you scan on the QR code. Of course, you guys' number is there for them to call you.
Okay.
And then you scan on the QR code and it takes you to this video. Good evening. This is Dr. Kimberly Barrington, and I am truly rolling on the road today. I'm here at John Ball's Park Zoo, and I am with Gift of Life. As you can see, I have on my pendants there. Thank you. As having been a family who has donated, and it's been cathartic to be here. And as you can see, it's called the Celebration of Life Trail. And it goes up about a half a mile. And you see all of these pictures of donors and recipients. And the tears just came down. They just came. And I'm so excited to say, I let them come. And it was wonderful. A volunteer came up and she said, how long has it been? And I said, it's only been 3 months. She said, well, this is kind of early. Are you gonna be okay? And I said, yep. And the reason why I can be okay is because why? For the last, 5 weeks, we've been talking about our inner strength. And so I pulled from my inner strength, and I was able to make it through and look at all of the donors and all of those who have been recipients, and to know that my husband's picture is going to be here the next time that they do it. I'm so excited. And if you're thinking about it and you said, I don't think I can do that, when you see the faces of these little babies that needed a heart, they needed lungs. You see someone's grandma who said she received a kidney. You see someone's grandpa who said he received eyes. Imagine someone in your family being able to see again. My father lost his eyesight, and he would always say, there's nothing that $1 million and a new pair of eyes would not do for me. Imagine if someone would have given their eyes so that my father could see just one more time what that would have meant for all of us. I think about all of the grandbabies that were born that he never got to see. There has been so much misinformation when it comes to donating or even receiving blood. If you need a blood transfusion, maybe it's your religion, your personal beliefs, but I promise you that if the doctor told you you only had 6 weeks to live, unless you get a liver transplant, you would want someone to be a donor. You would really want that. So I want you to reconsider. Giving. Go down to the DMV and change your license to say that I'm going to be a donor. And even if you don't want to give up your organs, you can be a tissue donor, like my husband was. They need veins, they need arteries, they need skin for skin grafts. There are bone cancer patients that could really use the marrow. Please, I implore you to just think about it. And you don't want to be where I was 3 months ago, to receive a phone call in the middle of the night asking to please donate. You're already in this emotional state because you've just lost your loved one. And then you're asked to have their body harvested. So the best time to make the decision is before the decision needs to be made. And if you still have questions, watch the show Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. And we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful series coming up. We're going to partner with Gift of Life Michigan, and we're going to talk about the process. We're going to hear from donors. Some people have been living donors. We're going to hear from their families. We're going to hear from the recipients and the difference that it made in their lives because someone gave. You guys know I love you, and you know that I'm pulling on my inner strength to be able to do this. And this is why you need to go back. If you haven't seen the series, you need to go back and watch them. And when I talk about my 10, I just did that this past Tuesday, of how I developed my inner strength to even be able to do this 3 months. It was difficult, but it was worth it.
Wow.
100 say that the birth of
Okay.
Wow. You know, again, I want to give kudos to you for that video, and of course to Allison for that event that she does every year, Donate Life Day at the Zoo. And you know, there's so many things I pull from that. Number one, as you said about your inner strength, you're talking about your inner strength 3 months post your husband's death, and still you being able to go and to find the inner strength to do that video and share with other families and to share with the community about the importance of organ and tissue donation in the midst. For you to encourage them to go to the Secretary of State's office and to sign up on the Michigan Organ Donor Registry so that decision is already made. So family members will already know what their loved ones wanted to do. I think, it's absolutely phenomenal for you to talk about the lives that were shared from young children, from babies all the way to grandparents. You did not leave anything out. You used your inner strength, and because of your inner strength, you are having an external footprint into the lives of many other people who need to be educated about this subject matter of organ and tissue donation. So I want to commend you for using your inner strength to educate others And I want to again commend you, and I want to also share that you're still in our thoughts and prayers. 3 months is a short period of time, but your inner strength is creating a lifetime of memories of different things that you're doing. And so once again, I want to commend you for that, Dr. Kimberly. Dr. K, you're an awesome sister.
It was amazing that the day that I got a phone call saying that surgery went well, I said, who has surgeries? She said, oh, it's a big surgical procedure, and how we do the harvesting. And I immediately said, oh my goodness, I cannot wait. I want you guys to come on the show and we're going to talk about this while we can really educate people. And I'm just going, I mean, my brain was just going and I'm doing all this brainstorming for about 15, 20 minutes. And the young lady was like, ma'am. I said, yes. Who does that? I said, does what? Educate people? And I was like, I do have a doctoral degree. I mean, it was earned. I mean, it's real serious though. I'm just going on and on and on. And she says, they told me about you. And I wanted to make the phone call because I said, I know what you told me about her, but I want to talk to her. And I guess it wasn't even being sad in that moment. It was, how do I help somebody else? Let's see, we got a lot of comments here. What does Pat say?
Pat saying, this amazing video made me have a serious talk with my family. Kudos, Dr. K. Thanks so much for always keeping us informed. Shayna saying, please, everyone, educate yourself and know that your life will live on in someone else. And Doretha Arden says, awesome. Pat Sanders said, amen, and thank you both. So, Dr. K, as we're talking, I think that, like you said, we're also always making sure that we're always trying to, our donor families also educate us a lot. And one of the great things that I have enjoyed about this educational process of working in community is, sometimes our families will ask us that we use the word recover from their loved ones rather than the H word, I like to call it. And that is just because we want to be sensitive to them. And when I tell you that I have learned more probably than I have educated, it has been and that's what I'm saying. And that's why this is so important for us to be having these conversations in community. And by you taking the time and elevating this conversation through your own personal pain and using it as a platform of power and of information, I cannot. Now you talk about, you're talking about, fan club. I cannot say enough about that because again, that is what is so important. You have a lived experience. You have a lived experience that you can share that will enable other people, like you said, to go down to the Secretary of State's office and to check their driver's license. We have a campaign now entitled Check Your Heart. And that campaign, I always say, awesome. is simple. And that is pull out your driver's license. Check to see if you have a red heart symbol on the front. If not, then check your heart why you don't. And then go down to the Secretary of State's office or go online and sign up on the Michigan Organ Donor Registry.
Well, I would, in a majority of settings, I would say recover. But in this particular instance, I used harvest because it was so tragic and it was so immediate. And that was my response was, gotcha. I haven't even had time to process the fact that he's gone. And I said, and now you're asking me to harvest him. I haven't even seen him since he walked out the door. And I said, and he's going to come back to me in a bag. And you want me, so I want people to understand I made this decision, but you need to know where my mindset was. You want to harvest him. don't sugarcoat it with me. Bottom line, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna just ravish his body, and we haven't had this conversation. I want others that when you guys have the conversation, you can use this video. You can use the one before with Allison. You can go
Okay.
on YouTube and you can watch the one that I did with the gift of life and play that for your family, because now they have it where you can simulcast it onto your big TV.
That's
So
true.
we've played it on the 80-inch screen here for everybody to see. And that is a softer ask, because now you've had an opportunity to have the conversation and make a decision, and then you write it down and you make it plain. The Bible says write the vision and make it plain. And so now everybody knows what you want to do, and maybe you do it together as a family and say we're all going to go down on Monday and we're going to change all of this. We're all going to do, a living will to say this is what we want to happen, because you don't want to be in that space where you hear harvest and not recover.
That's true.
You want to hear we're going to recover, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, yes. Let the recovery process begin. And that is like a two-edged sword. Not only are they recovering from a loved one, but it's going to help you to recover.
Amen.
Knowing that they're recovering. And I'm looking around and I'm like, is it you? Let me see. Can I see his eyes in you? Do I see that melanin on you? Mm-hmm. And so I do have, from our conversation with Allison, it said, she stated that only 1% actually end up being able to donate. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I think what she was saying is that 1 to 2% of the population actually reaches the state of brain death. And so I think that's probably what she was talking about, because it's a very unique opportunity that people have to become organ and tissue donors. And so that once again, that 1 to 2% that is going to reach the status of brain death, where they can, whereas our recovery can be completely of all organs and tissues, they can help up to over 83 people. But there's also the way that organ donations start, and there's we can recover from people after donation after cardiac death. That's what we call it, and we're still able to recover. We're still able to recover from those particular persons as well. And as you just shared also about your husband with tissue donors were able to recover up until over 24 hours. And so I think that what she was sharing with us is that this whole process of organ and tissue donation is a very unique opportunity and gift that we have been given to save the lives of so many others. And I think that that's one of the things that she was sharing. But I also want to say something else that you shared that was in the video. And that is, you listed all of the different medical conditions that your husband had, and yet and still, he was still able to become a tissue donor. So that we don't have to rule ourselves out because of medical conditions that at the time of a person's death, that, I'm sure you can also attest that we're taking a medical history and we're getting all types of information. And so therefore, with all those things that you listed, with diabetes, hypertension, neuropathy, I'm just trying to think of some of the things I remember, congestive heart failure, his life was still able to help others by his gift. And so therefore, I think that, that also just takes away with some of that conversation of people say, well, look, I can't do this because I got this, and I can't do it because I have that. That video that you shared says that is not true. That you can still give the gift of life. And so once again, I want to commend you for taking that information and putting that type of personal information out there as an educational tool in our community. That is powerful. That is powerful.
So
So,
on the left, it says,
yes.
I had,
Mm,
and then on the right, it says, but I gave.
but I gave. I mean, that's a sermon. I could preach it right there if I had,
Hallelujah.
but I had, but I gave.
Yep.
And so I think that, again, that particular message is so important. And I want to thank you for sharing that message.
And that, we now have no more excuses.
Yes.
It takes away the excuse. So a question I had, what type of disabilities would preclude you from being able to be like a tissue donor?
So once again, I would leave that up until the medical staff that was going to be asking questions. There is no disability that I am aware of that will preclude a person from definitely signing up to become an organ and tissue donor. And
So
so
y'all hear that?
therefore,
My disability community, that even
yes.
even me.
That's right. So there is no disability that
What's that
can
song that
preclude
says,
people from
even me,
signing
Lord,
up. That's
even
right.
me.
That's right.
And let me see what, look, I think we already talked. I had my little list of, we did talk about all the myths, and we did talk about how do we get people to change their mind. But I believe that each one reach one, each one teach one.
Yes.
And if we start talking about our experiences, and I told them, I'm just a firm believer that there is life and death, and that there is power in the tongue and in our words. And when they called me that Saturday to tell me that my husband, everything had gone really well with the recovery process, and she said that it may take a few days before we're able to get to you. She said, because we have this big event with our donors and recipients where, they get to share their stories, and we do this once a year. And the young lady said, I can see you doing this. And I said to her, oh, I am going to do this.
Oh,
I told her, I said, I just officially have become, an organ tissue um, donation ambassador. And
okay.
I said, I ran for state office last year. And so my
Okay.
husband and I, we said, okay, so what are we going to do this year? We were coming up with our little plan. And I said, I don't know that I ever want to run for office again. I just don't know that I want to ever do that. And he said, well, I'll do whatever you want to do. He said, I'm with you, not against you. He goes, but I'm going to tell you, we need to talk to, our folks. And he always so lovingly called Dave, the husband-in-law. And so he said, look, we need to go and have dinner again with the husband-in-law and let him say. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, I just believe that I can do so much more if my hands are not tied. And I said, right now, I have the autonomy to write checks, to be in relationships, and to create partnerships, and there's no issue. And I said, but as soon as I raise my right hand and I take that oath, I said, that changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like, you're right. And I said, well, what are your thoughts? And he says, I don't know. He said, let me think about it. He said, but I know that you need to be doing something. He said, now you get to rest. I'm gonna let you rest. And he goes, but we're gonna be back at it. And I said, okay. And so he really gave me my next thing to do. He gave me that.
Wow. Again, your words are so powerful. Your testimony is so powerful. And like you said, that he gifted you your next thing. Just
He
like
did.
he shared those gifts of life, he gifted you your next thing. And what I would like to say to you is I think you're doing a phenomenal job with that gift.
Thank you.
And that we are here, Gift of Life Michigan. We are, you are now part of our family. And so we are here to support you. I know that Allison, again, has been telling me many wonderful things about you. And I was not at the zoo event this year, but I'm sure that we will get a chance to meet personally together, and I'll be looking forward to that. But I think that once again, what we always say is no matter what it is that we do, the greatest ambassadors, those persons who have the strongest impact on us are our donor families. And I know you talked to a person, a part of our team, that was probably sharing that we were getting ready for our ceremony where we honor those particular families from the year before. Because again, there's not ever too much we can do for our donor families. And so we honor them each and every day. As you know, our core purpose here, Gift of Life Mission, is that we honor life through donation. And so with that, and again, with our Check Your Heart campaign. But like I said, Dr. K, you are doing a phenomenal job
Well,
because
totally
you are using your inner strength. It is one thing to speak of the inner strength. It is another thing to activate it and make it become absolute in the world so that people can see. It's not anything abstract. I can see your inner strength at work. I can see you doing it. And so, like I said, you listed all of those things you will hear at some other point in time in my life about I had and I gave. I think that's once again that's a powerful statement that you have shared on your husband's poster there. So again, I commend you and thank you for all that you are doing. And know that we are embracing and lifting up your heart in all of this as well. So
Well, again, we got excited and we went over our time, but I
oh,
believe that we all learned a lot today. We really did. And if you didn't catch it all, please go back to the replay and watch it. In fact, I'll just turn around and share it right off of YouTube. That way you can just snatch it and share it and watch it with your family and your friends. And if you're in the area, please make it down to Veterans Park, Art Prize. That's where my piece is. And I believe there's about 20, I think we counted maybe 27 entries from veterans that are in Veterans Park. But
wow.
please, I mean, they're all beautiful. There's a few that just made me, oh my God, make sure you have some tissue when you go. Just make sure. Because these I'm not saying that no one else's pieces are wonderful like that. But what I love about the ones that the veterans do, we talk about our struggles and the things that we've experienced, that we've held on to, but we're able to release through art. It gives us another voice, another way to have a conversation without necessarily having the conversation, but also being able to educate others about what it is that we experience uh, as veterans. And I love it because my husband was an Army vet. I'm a Navy vet. And when they came and knocked on the door to do the notification, I told them I needed to go because we have a man down and we leave no man behind. I leave no man behind. Right now, I'm not a wife or I'm not just a wife, but that's my comrade who has fallen on the battlefield of life. And I need to be there. I need to be there. And that was one of the big things for me. I felt that I didn't want him to die in the street by himself. And in that particular episode, I'm going to find it because I'm going to post it so that you guys can go there. I might even be able to upload it so you guys can see it. But one of the things that the parents were really upset about is that she died in this accident on the side of the road by herself. And I love it because Andrew said she was never alone. I was with her the whole time and I escorted her straight to heaven.
Wow.
By the time you found her, that was just a shell because she was no longer there. And what comfort that it gave me to see that scenario differently, because as they were giving me the notification, the radios were on in the cars and I could hear them still working on my husband getting ready to lift this car off of his body. And I said, oh my, now I know I really need to go. And so I would not have wanted him to die in vain. He has been with me as we've gone more than 62,000 miles, visited 774 places, and been to 176 cities,
Wow.
working, advocating. And there was no way I would let him go out like that, just on the side of the road. So if you have a family member that you feel is unredeemable, just know maybe they may not have been in life, but they can be in death. So go to them and make sure that you go and you check your heart as well. And even if you don't get a chance to make it to mm, the DMV, you can always just write on a piece of paper, make your wishes known. And even after you're gone, as the family, I would say, restore back unto them that dignity, give other families hope, give them life, and give them another opportunity to make it right by being a donor. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is certainly not the last show. The next show that we need to do is talking to the families uh, of someone who's received. And so you can see yourself the impact that you can have. So if you're still vacillating on whether you should do this or not, watch that next show. I guarantee you, you'll change your mind. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Did I say thank you enough?
Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I did good, guys. I was so giggly. I don't get nervous. I was just, I'm just such a fangirl. But we just
Um,
thank you so much for tuning in. Any final words?
Once again, I just want to say thank you for using this platform to educate community about life, about the gift of life, about inner strength, about what is possible. And so I just want to say that, tell everyone to check your heart. And I think that that is what you do with your show, Dr. K. So thank you.
All right, don't leave me. I'll meet you in the green room. And thank
Okay.
you so much for tuning in to Rolling on the Road, and we'll see you on next week. If you didn't catch the show live today, please know that you can always go to YouTube, 100 Shades of Diversibility, and catch it there. Catch it, like, share, subscribe. And we're also on, you guys ready? Drum roll, please. Drum roll. We are on public access TV, channel 25, and they tell me that we're on there almost 7 days a week. I will definitely get the schedule and let you know the days and times, but I definitely know that it will be on, this show will be on there tomorrow at 6 p.m. So you can see today's show in its entirety at 6 p.m. on public access channel 25.